Motsu Akuma Danshi Kokose, aka MADK, is one of the strangest and most interesting reads I've come across. And for me, that's saying something, because all I do is read strange garbage. So when I tell you guys that this is something a little bit different, I really truly mean it. So what I'm gonna do is give you guys a quick little bit of background about what the story is, but mostly I wanna go into what I feel makes this story special. I don't wanna give you a plot synopsis, because I think so much of that is one of the things that makes this story so different and special, but I wanna talk about what makes MADK so much different and such a strong read compared to things that I've come across in recent memory. So MADK tells the story of Makoto, and Makoto is a strange kid, to put it bluntly. He is someone that is into the occult, and by his own words, is someone that felt like he never has really fit into society, no matter his age. And he's at the point now where he's in high school and he's discovered a kink that he has. And the kink I will leave out, not only for monetization reasons, but also because I think that it's one of the more interesting things to come across in your reading of this. It's different, and yeah, that's about all I'm gonna say about it, right? So the story starts out with Makoto taking one of the occult books that he has read and has, and attempting to summon a demon into the world. And in his mind, he's thinking, like, this is so stupid. There's no way that a demon's actually gonna be summoned. This is extremely silly. To his surprise, after utilizing his blood and putting it to the paper, he does summon a demon. And the demon's name is Jay. And Jay tells Makoto that he is able to have whatever he wishes and he will grant it. But in return for granting this wish, he will then be in ownership of his soul and will take Makoto to hell upon completion of the task. But Jay is immediately surprised by Makoto's reaction, because normally in these circumstances, a person is going to be like, whoa, back up, what's going on here? There's going to be an element of surprise and often fear when you're going through something like this, because you literally just summoned a demon into the corporeal world of man. But Makoto already has signed his contract in blood by the time Jay even gets done with his little speech about what's going to happen. So after the contract is complete, Makoto asks Jay his task, and it is completed. When Makoto has almost gotten to completion of his task, he realizes that, wow, there's an element of satisfaction that he has, but also that he can never go back to the regular world of humans again after what he just completed, because of how just absolutely F what he did is. He knows that there's no way he'll be able to look anybody else in the eye or just live a normal life after this. But he won't have to, because he's dead after this, right? So Makoto tells Jay that he's satisfied, he is complete, and upon hearing that, Jay decapitates Makoto, killing his worldly body and taking his disembodied head and his soul into hell to introduce him to the demon world and the life of a demon. And this is where the bulk of this story takes place, at least in this first volume. Now, a story taking place in hell isn't exactly original, right? We have seen hell many times in fiction, but what I appreciate about Ryo Suzuri's version of hell is his world building. He really takes the time to give you details about what hell is in his brain and in this setting, and it is run and governed by its own set of rules, boundaries, and one of the most interesting parts about this read is learning the rules along with Makoto, right? Because in the beginning, as Jay is teaching Makoto the ropes, if you will, Jay appears as a cruel teacher on the surface, seeming as though he only wants to torment his subjects. But in actuality, the demands he makes are done in an effort to teach. See, his goal is to teach Makoto the nuances of the social hierarchy in the demon world and to show Makoto how complex they are. But the only real way to do this is to experience them rather than read. As we learn through a number of the characters that we get introduced to, Makoto isn't the only subject that Jay has taken on as a pupil in the demon world. We are told that every other pupil that has been attempted to make the transition from human into demon has failed outside of one, that being Datensho, who is also serving as a sort of mentor figure for Makoto in his time learning the ropes on how hell works from Jay. Weaker, slow pupils are inevitably devoured by the harsh realities of life in hell. It's an environment that's only reserved for the strong, and Jay wants Makoto to understand this early and absorb this lesson into his bones as a cardinal truth if he's going to have any real hope of surviving in this place. Because one of the driving forces behind this story is Jay himself. He's charismatic, funny, and he has a lot going on under the surface as a character. He's fairly complex. He actually reminds me a lot of Griffith, to be honest. Griffith from the Berserk series, not only in the physical sense, both being these pale, beautiful, cunning, and ambitious figures, but most importantly, through their personal philosophies, as both Jay and Griffith have had a difficult time finding someone that they can consider a friend or equal. They have so many people that have been absolutely floored by the brilliance of the light that they emit, right? Their ambitions, their physical beauty, all these things have served to create followers around them, right? They've allowed them to find people who can serve as underlings and people that will help them reach their dream. But it's rare for them to find somebody that can give them what they really want. Somebody that can be a challenge, somebody that is able to stand with them on equal ground and serve as a friend as opposed to a follower. And in the same way, Jay and Griffith both serve as a catalyst for growth for our main character and a benchmark for our main character to eventually surpass. One of the most significant lessons that Jay teaches Makoto is the reality that enforcing one's will means having the power to back up that desire. See, there's a point in the manga, Jay forces a situation upon Makoto that he is not ready for and that he does not want to do. And Jay is utterly ecstatic when Makoto pushes back, right? He's happy that he has some fight in him and doesn't want to just go along with his whims. But at the same time, Jay also wants to teach Makoto about the value of strength and respect in hell. So he literally rips Makoto's head off and forces him into the situation that he does not want to be in, teaching him in that moment that while I like your attitude, while I like where your head is at in this situation, you have to realize that in order to enact your will, you have to have the power to back that up. Words are not enough. And this philosophy is going to be something that sticks with Makoto throughout the rest of the story. One of the coolest parts of the world to me that Ryo Suzuri has created in MADK is how power levels function in the demon world within this setting, right? Jay teaches Makoto early on that you are unable to say the name of a demon that is stronger than you, and he does this through experience, right? Jay introduces Makoto to Datensho, one of Jay's other pupils. Jay doesn't make Makoto aware of this rule, to the surprise of Datensho, because as Makoto attempts to say Datensho's name, he suddenly notices that he's gasping for air and something inside of him is going very wrong. At that moment, Jay lets out a little grin as Datensho teaches Makoto that you cannot say the name of a demon more powerful than you, because if you do, you'll be ripped apart, your soul torn asunder, and it's going to be an utterly painful experience that's going to wipe out your entire existence. So this plot point becomes significant as time moves on. We start to notice his ability to say the names of the demons around him, meaning that Makoto's growing, right? And Makoto notices this as well. At the book end of this volume, Makoto reflects on one of the greatest lessons that he has learned about the demon world, and that's how the power structure works. He reflects on the fact that strength within the demon realm seems to mean that you have the power to never be thrown off course or unnerved by the person that you're talking to. If you have the ability to remain unnerved and the individual that you're talking with doesn't have the ability to scare or disempower you, then you're able to say their name. This is at the crux of how this system seems to work. And upon realizing this, Makoto begins to think on his relationship with Jay, and he wonders if there's anybody that has the power to throw Jay off track. Because in this world, Jay is known as one of the strongest demons. He's an archduke, and there are not many people within this realm that are much more powerful than Jay. As Makoto learns through going around the world and his experiences with other people, Jay's a badass in this place. Makoto thinks about his own relationship with Jay and how when he's around him, Jay is so easily able to throw him off course with his silver tongue and the way that he carries himself, the charisma that he has, the beauty. And he decides at this point for himself that he wants to be the sort of person powerful enough to throw Jay off of his game. And this is one of the first goals that we see Makoto set up for himself within the world. Just a word of warning though, this thing is so dark and so strange. Like there's so much happening in this thing where like I can't rightfully recommend it to everyone just because it's so weird and it's so not for everybody. It's 100% not. But if you haven't been completely grossed out by what I've said and shown so far, and you have that inkling that this might be something you want to check out, this is a good read if you can stomach it. So I hope this was helpful. I hope I could introduce you all to something new and different. Take care, guys, and I'll talk to you in the next video.